The Crew 3, the Crew 4, the Crew Motorfest 2. I don't know what it's going to be, but one of those titles has been greenlit by Ubisoft. And I want to talk about what that means, what I expect to see, what I want to see, and of course, what does that mean for the future of the Crew Motorfest? It'll be fine. First things first, Tom Henderson is the one that told us this. I think they revealed the previous Need for Speed game and the previous Crew. Anyway, he says the next Motorfest game has been greenlit by Ubisoft. Oh. But then someone corrected him and he fixed it, don't worry. The next The Crew game has been greenlit by Ubisoft. Hey. Why is wank chat I've had enough of Twitter. First off, let's start basics. What the hell do they mean it's being greenlit? Does that mean it's under development? Basically what this means is Ivory Tower went to Ubisoft and said, this is the game we want to make. And Ubisoft went, yep, that's all right, mate. Get on with it. So let's start off with, do I think this rumor is real? Probably. I don't see that being a wild rumor to kick out there. The previous 3 Crew games, each consecutive version of the game has performed better than the previous. And so, of course, Ubisoft is going to want more. It is worth knowing that we are still likely years away from actually seeing anything new Crew-wise. It wouldn't surprise me if they miss this generation. I say that we'll likely get it on this gen and previous gen as we did with this one. Anyway, this is incredibly early in the cycle of game development, and again, considering they've been successful in the last 3 iterations of the game, more so than the previous, well, it just kind of makes sense that they get approved to make another game. But based on their track record of being successful releasing games, they probably require less and less of a upfront idea because they know it's probably going to be successful. They've had a good track record so far. So, what I'm saying is the idea might actually be, we're gonna make another one, and Ubisoft said yes. They might not even have to give the details of what the plan for the game is, but normally that's the case. They give a concept, so they could have been like, oh, well, we're gonna make Motorfest 2, or we're gonna go back to what we did with the Crew 2 and then change it up a little bit. But something that definitely says that it's not gonna be anytime, like, very soon, is the fact that the offline mode for this game and the Crew 2 are not out yet. The Crew 2 is getting its later this year in a super simple form. Both games are built on a very similar base, so it's likely that the Crew Motorfests won't take that much longer beyond. Essentially, every time they add new elements of the game, as in new ways for events to be played, new features, new options, say for example, the new multiplayer mode that they've added, or say for example, the new systems of changing parts that they added to the Crew Motorfest that's different to the Crew 2, those all require extra level of work on top of what they already did on the Crew 2. Thus would be the same for the Crew 3 for Motorfest 2. So I don't expect to see the light of day of this game for a while because of that. It doesn't make sense to not have the offline mode properly sorted before they start building the infrastructure for the next game. It's a little nonsensical, really. If they did start soon, that would basically mean that the game is going to be essentially the same. So when it comes to the idea of the Motorfest, when it comes to the idea of the playlist, well, basically we're gonna get this again, which I would argue doesn't really make that much sense, which is good news. The whole core element, the whole idea of the Crew Motorfest is that they can just keep adding playlists, more, meaning that more cars, people are going to spend more money on them if they don't play that often, or the whole concept of the idea of the playlist as it is in this game, they feel like, why would it need to change? So in reality, it seems like they've got an idea that is significantly different to what they had in the Crew Motorfest. So that's good news. But I'm going to give you my 2 sides of the coin, if you will, because there is a chance that we just get the Crew Motorfest 2, which I think is possibly my least favorite of the situations, but I think there's obviously, they've got to try and make it different to Forza Horizon. Now that that game is solidly on PlayStation, they can't just do another festival racer without doing some significant changes. And the reason this matters so much, just in case you don't understand, PlayStation was their primary platform, as is for a lot of games, and now Xbox games are coming to PlayStation. Well, the competition is now directly on the same platform that they were decimating on before, and now they're dropping into second because Forza. You get it. All right. What do I think they're gonna do? I hate to throw this at another game, but it seems very possible, very likely, that they could very much do a Japan-based map. Hear me out. The reason is they've been doing Made in Japan, and it is their most popular playlist. They made a sequel to their Made in Japan playlist. Why would they not do Japan in the Crew? That is definitely a possibility. But I'm gonna counter that and say what I would like to see is them to do France. Yeah, a French studio making a France-based racing game, that kind of makes sense. If they keep the formula of playlists and focusing on car manufacturers and things like that, if they start with the idea of having France, kind of like they did with a US map, but obviously slimmed down, what's stopping them then building on that each year with German expansion to add Audi, to add BMW, to add, I don't know, any of them. There's a lot of car brands in Germany. Hell, start in Germany if you and then going to Italy and focusing on the Italian car brands like this one. They could do something really cool, similar to how they're gonna be doing with the Nürburgring in the new Assetto Corsa game. It sounds like a really cool idea to me, and then collecting different themes and styles of houses, because that's one thing that's so awesome about Europe is you jump across the border and things are vastly different, whereas I feel like in the States a lot of it is very, very similar, and we saw that in the build of the map. But now we got SSDs. Mate, it's the perfect time to get something like this done. I was mentioning with the houses, sprinkle some TDU routes on there, because TDU itself is struggling to do TDU routes, and the Crew honestly did a better job in a lot of different ways. That being the Crew 1 and 2, obviously. And if they did that, they could really play on the idea of, oh, I'm going to France and I'm doing missions with the French people, or Bugatti, I'm doing Bugatti delivery, just something super simple like that. I think is such a great idea. If they stuck with the Motorfest theme, I would prefer they don't. I have had it with festival racers. I want Forza Horizon to not be a festival racer. That's how much I hate festival racing right now. I'm bored out of my damn mind. When they were talking to me about the idea of Need for Speed Heat being, oh, a daytime festival, I shat. Okay, I didn't actually. Thankfully, they teared away from that a little bit and kept it pretty simple, straightforward. It wasn't even really, it felt like I was still illegally racing. So I think that was a nice, unique experience. And I'm going to say this straight out the bat. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but Toyota. We need to shift back to the Crew 1. Illegality, darkness. Ugh. Basically, I want it to be more like the Crew 1, with maybe some sprinkles of Motorfest on top. Let me explain myself a little bit as I do this Alpha GP race. Hey, let's get it. Move out the damn way, Chad. I am really frustrated more and more these days with games becoming so surface level, so simple. Like, what I need is depth, frustration, like motivation to pull me through the game. It's really annoying. Like, I loved the Crew 1's cutscenes and things like that. I love the theme. It doesn't even need to be that dark. That's not what I'm asking for. All I really want is my characters to actually have purpose, meaning. I'm fed up of everyone kind of going the same way as Horizon, where I do not care about any characters. I don't remember their names. I don't remember what anything they stand for. I need some depth to the characters. Please, I am begging you. I want to be frustrated by people because it means I want to come back and whoop them. Any small level is better than what we've got on this. Once again, add those TDU elements in there. Buying houses, meaning that you can get more cars. Customizing your houses, making it more of a life sim experience. Definitely will pull it away from the Forza experience. I really like that idea. I missed the long coast-to-coast events you've seen on the challenges on the channel. I've been doing those challenges because I miss doing them in the Crew 1. They were incredible fun. I remember setting up for evenings of planning with my friends. So basically, planning ahead of time to drive for hours and just chat shit the whole time. That was so much fun. I enjoyed that so much. And with the adding of the offline mode, it's going to be obvious that more people are going to check those out and not have to worry about the idea of disconnection ruining the whole entire run. These are things you don't think about as devs. Like those longer events, maybe most people didn't do them, but they would be more likely to if it was available offline. I didn't lose all my progress if my internet had an issue. And with a game called The Crew, how about we have a system about the crew in place? I'm not talking about 3 people. That's not really a crew. That's the lads or the ladies or mates. I don't know. It's not good enough. What I need to see is a genuine full crew system return, just like that in the Crew 1. Otherwise, just call the game Motorfest. You know, just change it. What does the crew mean? What are you crewing? Who are you crewing? Now, this is where I'm gonna throw a little bit of excitement to the ivory tower heads. I think it would be a brilliant idea to do both. Okay, I don't mean in a separate game. What I really think could be done, and I think would be an actual really cool idea, is to include Motorfest in the normal game. So think about how in the Crew 1 and the Crew 2, we had the summit. It was a location, it was a place we did things like this. Proper events that have been set up by the event. Why do these need to be the whole game? These could be a side element to a game that has a normal story, like a feel of progression and an adventure as such, because this is not an adventure. I didn't mind the idea in the Crew 1 and the Crew 2 because it became separate. It was a separate entity that you could go to. However, that is not the whole idea. My whole idea here, and feel free to use this ivory tower. You're very welcome to do so. Jesus, I thought I was going to hit them. Take the Motorfest element and make it free to play. I think this is a really good idea, and a way to one-up Forza hugely is to make the game mostly somewhat accessible to the majority of people. Then the campaign, the story, those elements should be the normal full game if you wish to do so. So think about, for example, you have the Motorfest edition, which only accesses the Motorfest elements of the game, whereas I get to shoot someone up if I want to in the storyline. That way you get to see which works, and then people go from trying the free one to doing the paid, and I can experience the game with other people that normally wouldn't buy the game. It populates those PvP lobbies hugely. I think it's a good idea. I think there's definitely something there. You can tell me if I'm talking rubbish. But I really think that could be a cool experience to try. And then you could do the whole, to make money, obviously, buying the cars in the game like we already do, and the bundles and the packs, and all those things are already in place. So why not have a free version? It's worth a try. I think it's worth a try. Anyway, we are still likely 3-4 years away from the next Crew game, but hopefully it's actually significantly different to this game, because again, it does then go against the whole point of Motorfest that they could just keep this game and keep layering in more and more and more. And it is absolutely worth knowing that it does not mean the end of the Crew Motorfest. They're going to create the offline patch, as they are doing right now, meaning it'll be playable forever. You won't lose your access. But I'm ready for a fresh go, and I hate to say, I'm going to say it. I don't know if all of the cars should be importable again, like it was last time. Some people may disagree, but I really think that affected my playtime. And giving me the option for just me to do it, I don't know if that necessarily would make me not do it. Also, keep the special cars, because I've got a car in the game. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. This is a discussion. Let's talk.